When I first started shooting YouTube videos over 12 years ago now, it really wasn't very long at all before I realised I'd have to do something to improve the lighting. You see, the kind of objects that I was trying to show close to the camera just weren't getting enough light from the standard lights in the house, so I ended up investing in some studio lighting, which was much brighter. It's something that people still seem to get wrong. I'll see a lot of videos on YouTube, interesting subjects, but just not enough light on them, so as a result the camera reduces its frame rate, everything gets rather mushy, grainy. Yeah, lighting is important. However, these lights I've been using here just take up too much room in my studio. You can see the covers on them here. I'm ending up, when I'm shooting, say, something on a counter, I've got the camera down here like that. I've got one light in here, one light in here. I'll move them up and down, and it's got a bit ridiculous. And I would have invested in LED lighting a lot earlier, but it was just pretty expensive. However, recently, say the last year or so, it's really come down in price, so that I've decided to finally invest in some LED lights. So let me show you which ones I've got. You can see at the top of the screen there, I bought this on the 6th of January and I paid £110, and for that I got two 480 LED panels with carrying bags. There's no stands included in this. You could spend a little bit more per panel. Instead of £55 a panel, go up to £78 per panel, and for that price you would then get the panel, a carrying bag, and a recharger and two batteries, because these things can run off rechargeable batteries, but that's not something that I'm personally interested in. But it's good to know that it will do that if you wanted it to. I can imagine that being handy for people just moving them around, not having to worry about plugging them in anywhere. You also get this nice carrying case, and this is padded as well. Now, unlike my other lamps, you could carry these around if you were going to different locations. I'll just show you actually what's inside one of those lamps that I had in the garage before. I just wanted to show you what one of the bulbs in here look like, because these covers are on with Velcro, and that, I don't know if you can see this properly, let me try and angle it, that there is the bulb. Now this is like oh, it's wobbly, that one. That's going to fall off very soon. Probably a good job I got my LED lights. Yeah, that one's, something's broken in there. Yeah, so you can see those bulbs are fragile and large. Not something you'd really want to carry around with you, but this definitely is something that you could do. So let's get it all out of the case and have a good look at it. So starting off with the power lead. Well, this is a standard UK IEC C13. You could replace that with a longer one if you need it. It's not all attached together. We've got the separate power brick here, which is multi-voltage, and as you can see, it outputs 12 volts, 3 amps, and we've got a centre positive plug on here, barrel plug on the end there. There's very little in the way of setting up here. It's all pre-assembled. The only thing I have to do is to remove this sheet which diffuses the light from those LEDs and take off the protective film that's on both sides. You can see, looking at my hand through this, how it softens the light or the image as it comes through there, just spreads the light out from those LEDs so it's not quite as defined. But you can see this rotates all the way around. It's all metal. These bits here, yes, those are metal. They look like it, and they are. It's all sort of aluminium, I think, or something, but it's lightweight but solid as well. A lot better quality than you'd expect for something of this price. I mean, I don't know what else you would be paying for if you bought a more expensive one. Maybe longevity, but of course I can't comment on that at this point. These bits that you raise up at either side just pop out so it holds that filter in the front. You can see where the batteries would go in on the left there if I'd bought the rechargeable set. We've got a switch here which we select the power between the mains power and the batteries, and we've got two dials to adjust the intensity of the white light and the yellow light separately. So we'll just put the power lead in here, switch this switch to the power lead position. You get the little green LED there to show you the power's on, because you can turn these all the way down and the lights would be off but the power would still be coming through. But you can see here, looking at the background perhaps, how I'm adjusting the colour temperature between the yellow and the white. To get maximum brightness you turn them both up to the maximum, because there's two separate rows of LEDs in here. I'll show you. So we've got the yellow ones, you'll notice the camera just adjusts its brightness down here, and then we've got the white ones in separate rows, and together, of course, both of those on will give you the brightest light, but if you want to adjust the colour temperature, you adjust one or the other. Okay, so I've put the LED panel on the stand that the previous lamp was on, the same stand that this old one is on over here. And just look at the difference in size between the two. The area on the front here is so much smaller, but it's going to produce a lot more light than the old lamp did. It's just brilliant in every sense of the word. I'm really looking forward to using these. It's going to make things a heck of a lot easier. There's just going to be a lot less things in the way when I'm trying to shoot. I can perhaps put these up even higher with them being brighter, tilt them down, whereas with this one I'd have to bring it in quite a lot closer to the object. So yeah, this is great. There's another thing though. This is a very deep lamp. This is, of course, a very shallow lamp. So that opens up some possibilities with regard to mounting. You see, this setup I've got here with these unwieldy tripods, it's the kind of standard setup that everyone would use. But when I'm in a confined area, I'm shooting something on a counter, I'm looking at it through the viewfinder, and I've got all these tripod legs around me here, it gets a little bit complicated to shoot sometimes. I end up knocking things over. I'm just going to show you a quick shot of what it looks like down at my feet now, because it might not be that obvious that this up here looks quite neat, but down here it's a bit of a disaster area. So my idea is to free up some of this floor space by not having tripods anymore. Instead, because these things are so small and neat, I'm going to mount them to arms that I'm going to have hanging down from above. Arms that I can manipulate, so I can put the lamps into whatever position I want, but still it just frees up all of this floor space. So let me show you the arms that I'm going to use for that. Okay, now these are expensive. I've got 2 arms and 2 clamps from Manfrotto, or is that Manfrotto? I'm never too sure. But anyway, these people, I've bought things from them before. I like their products. They're very reliable. They do the job, but they are expensive. So that's £200 I've spent on arms. And then in addition to that, I've got a clamp for each arm at another £22.45 a piece. So yes, the arms and clamps cost way more than the lights did that they're going to be supporting. And you can see that these guys mean business as well. They really don't care about exciting packaging. They just use a plain cardboard box with a different sticker on the end, depending upon what they put in it. There's a couple of different kinds of these arms. This one's called the friction arm. There's another one with a lever on it which just locks it in position. This friction one enables you just to loosen it a little bit so you can manipulate the arm around without it going completely floppy, but then tighten it up by moving that wheel clockwise and everything will hold rigidly in position. Now, out of the box, these things are a little bit stiff to maneuver. You can see we've got a ball joint, the whole end rotates 360 degrees, same on the other end of course, but it's a little bit stiff to start with, but once you've used them for a while those things will loosen up. Now here's the clamp that I'm using. These are serious pieces of equipment as well. You can see the size of that lever on the end there. You could really get some purchase on that to really clamp it down on whatever object you put it onto. We've got rubber on the inside of here. You could put that around a pole, you can see by the design on it as well. Tripod screw holes on the bottom. This section unscrews to attach to the end of the arm, but we've also got this spring-loaded section here which will stop it falling off. If you accidentally unscrewed it, it wouldn't immediately fall off. You'd have to also press that button, just a safety feature. The super clamp comes with one of these plastic wedges, the purpose of which is to fit inside the clamp if you're going to be using it on a flat surface. You see, this is more suited for gripping around some kind of pole or leg, whereas if you pop this into here, then it makes it flat along the bottom, so it's more suited for gripping onto a shelf or a beam. Now, I've already got one of these arms and I'm going to use it in the next scene to hold the camera up, and it's got a camera mount plate on one end and the same clamp on the other, but you can see this one's quite a bit looser because I've been using it a lot. But once you get it in the position you like, just tighten up that wheel and that thing will not move at all. It's a very solid mount. But returning to the new arm that I've just purchased, all I have to do to attach it to that lighting panel is screw it onto the end like this. Right, so this is what I call the studio. It's an area where I shoot most of the close-ups of things. Only a small area I've got here, so any space I can create by moving things out of the way is advantageous to me. You can see I've already got one of the lights up here on an arm with the clamp attached to this shelf up above, and if I reach over here I can switch it on if I can find the on-off button. There it is, and you can see how bright that makes this area here. I'm going to turn it off though because it's creating a backlight effect on the video. So it's just a matter of me putting the other one up here. I'll need to do a bit of cable tidying, of course. I'll have the wires, I think, running from above. But yeah, these can go really down low, for the thing that I'm shooting. And I'll just put the light on this one, so you could really get in there, do some good macro shots with a nice bright light. Also, of course, you could bring them up if I can adjust this properly, and you can put them all the way out here. So yeah, that's really going to make quite a bit of a difference to me. Right, so let's do a quick demonstration of the lights in action. At the moment, you've just got a bit of ambient light coming through behind the curtains and things. This is the light that I'd have on in the room just for walking around and things, but not for photography, because you can see all the shadows and things being cast down from that. One thing I'd normally do, though, is turn up my exposure compensation to +1 when I'm shooting against this white background. But we'll turn off the light to the room now, and then I'll turn on one of these LED panels. Let's start with the white light. That's the right-hand one. And then that's the left-hand one. You can see that looks really good. Those are at full brightness now. If we bring in the yellow as well on top of there, that's the left yellow and that's the right yellow. Now, of course, the camera's going to be doing auto white balance compensation and things, which means that this isn't going to look exactly on camera as it looks in person, but it looks pretty good there. I think I'd probably shoot this one without any yellow light on, just so I can capture the white on the camera a little bit better. But there you go, that's how it works. So yeah, I'd really recommend, if you're thinking of LED light panels, have a look at these. I'll put links to them in the video description text box on Amazon, affiliated links of course. I'm sure there are other makes you could get that would do a very similar thing, but these are the ones that I bought and I'm very happy with them. So that's it for the moment. As always, thanks for watching.